Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. This is Asad Yaqub from Lahore, Pakistan, and once again I welcome you in my IELTS writing workshop. This is my IELTS essay writing workshop. I made some other workshops as well, and by the way, whenever you hear the word workshop, it means a long video explaining things in details, and some of you are the type of learners who want explanations, who want things in detail and all that. By the way, I'm going to give you a workshop on writing task 2, essay writing vocabulary. So it's going to be vocabulary for academic and general training IELTS writing task 2. Before this, I made a 50-minute video on IELTS writing task 1 where I gave you vocabulary for writing task 1. Now I'm going to give you vocabulary for IELTS writing task 2, essay writing. I will give you some words, and if you use these words appropriately, you can strengthen your essay, you can achieve coherence and cohesion. I'm going to make another workshop on lexical resource, then grammatical range and accuracy. So soon that workshop will be there with you as well, but this one is on vocabulary for general training and academic IELTS essay writing. Anyways, now first we are going to start with the vocabulary for the introduction part. When you are going to start your essay, what sort of words or phrases you can use. Remember, no repetition, no use of inappropriate words, or no use of appropriate words inappropriately. There should not be any grammatical mistake. These are few things if you avoid, believe me, you can get your good band score. Many people are struggling. They are getting 6.5 but not 7. Many people are struggling. They are getting 5.5 in writing but not 6. It's just because of that, and then we start blaming Cambridge University, then we start blaming IELTS test and all that. Although there are certain things, but if your English or your level of English or your essay is of 8 bands, they will not give you less than 7.5 or 7. Rather, they will give you 8 bands, guys. Okay. So anyways, let's just take a start with this vocabulary. Vocabulary for the introduction part. Many or some people claim. Now you're starting a discussion essay. In discussion essay, first paragraph, you have to write about 2 sides. So you can write many people claim. Some people believe, some people opine. Opine, I guess we read it, yeah, opine. Believe that. There is no denying that. Now it means you're going to describe a fact. You're writing a discussion essay or you're writing an opinion essay, and as I told you before, the first paragraph, the first sentence is basically a general sentence about the topic. For that general sentence about the topic, you can use this vocabulary. There is no denying that. It is often said that these days or nowadays, in this day and age. Now for example, in this day and age, obesity has become a common problem for societies all over the world. See that? I mean, let me tell you one thing, the beauty of these sentences, you always start with them and then your brain will produce ideas for you. Now when you say many people believe, then you start thinking, what do they believe? When you say nowadays, then again your brain brings you something that happens nowadays. It goes without saying that. See, such beautiful phrase, it goes without saying that. It is universally accepted that, but then there should be something which is universally accepted, not like that. It is universally accepted that I like my hometown very much. Again, when you use appropriate phrases inappropriately, they will not give you any good band score. They'll give you the bad band score. Anyways, we live in an age when many of us are prone to obesity or something like that. People are divided in their opinion regarding, then you can write regarding putting ban on smoking at public places. Dash is one of the most important issues nowadays. You can say obesity is one of the most important issues nowadays. Crime or street crime is one of the most important issues nowadays. Right? Whether dash or dash is a controversial issue. You can talk about 2 things, right? Whatever it is, that's a controversial issue. So these are the phrases which you can use in your first introductory paragraph appropriately. Let me tell you, if you use a phrase without a reference, if you use just the beginning of the phrase without a complete sentence, they will cross it. And if they get to know that you have crammed just the phrases and they have no relation with the topic, they are not relevant to the topic, again you will get low band score for that, because now IELTS marking criteria is changed altogether. They have added one thing recently, and that is cramming. In the past there wasn't any penalty on cramming. In the light of what you wrote, they gave you the band score, but now there is something which they call cramming. If they realize that this sentence is crammed, this paragraph is crammed, then definitely they are going to bring it out, and it is only when you use a sentence which has no relation with the topic. When 10 sentences are wrong and one beautiful sentence is correct standing alone, then they will understand that this is cramming and you'll be penalized for that. So be very careful, use these phrases but appropriately. Next we've got useful vocabulary or phrases to end the introduction part. How to finish the introduction part. Let us examine both views before reaching a concrete decision. That's the last sentence of your introduction. Let us examine both views before reaching a concrete decision. The following paragraphs discuss whether dash or dash and reach a reasonable conclusion. Like you can write, the following paragraphs discuss whether there should be a ban on smoking or not and reach a reasonable conclusion. I mean, if you write good sentences, if you use these phrases appropriately, there is no way that they are going to reduce your band score. The following essay takes a look at both sides of the argument. My 2 cents go for, and like that. However, I strongly believe that. I oppose the view and my reasons will be explained in the following paragraphs. The last sentence of your essay. I will support this view with arguments in the following paragraphs. I personally believe that. If it is an opinion essay, then you will end introductory paragraph with your opinion. Thus the advantages far outweigh the disadvantages, that is your opinion in the first paragraph, or you can write it in the last paragraph as well. I wholeheartedly, if you are going to use wholeheartedly, you must know the spelling. I wholeheartedly believe that this trend should be changed. Now vocabulary for the opinion part. When you are going to give your opinion, for that you can say, I'll be quick here, right? In my opinion, I strongly opine that, I don't know the correct pronunciation, is it opine or opine, so please don't pick me up on this one word, okay? You cannot judge me on one word only. I strongly agree with the idea that, I strongly disagree with the given topic if it is opinion essay. I think, or my opinion is that, personally speaking, in my view, I believe, apparently, personally speaking, according to me, from my point of view, not in my point of view. In my point of view is wrong. From my point of view, as far as I am concerned, as far as, some students write for, as far as. From my perspective, I realize, to my way of thinking, it seems to me that, to me, to my mind, my own view on the matter is, it appears that, I feel that, I understand, I suppose. So these are the phrases, but you can use 1, 2 or 3 appropriately for your opinion part. Vocabulary for the second paragraph part. Now when you're going to write second paragraph, this is first paragraph introduction, second paragraph means body of your essay. There you write, it is true that, in the beginning you're going to give a fact or a truth. You say, it is true that first, or first of all, or firstly, or first and foremost, initially, to begin with, to start with, let us take a look at. It is worth considering. In the first place, though it is true that, some people believe that, many people think that, according to many, some people believe that, many support the view that, on the other hand. I would advise you, from all these categories, please learn 3 to 4 phrases. Let's make it 4. Just learn 4. Don't confuse yourselves with all Just learn 4 phrases in each category and then use them wisely in your essays. Vocabulary for third, fourth paragraph of your essay. Second or secondly, but never say second of all, okay? Sometimes we think first of all and now second of all. Third or thirdly, then, next, after that, and, again, also, besides, likewise, in addition. You are going to add a sentence. Consequently, you are going to describe the result, or you are going to conclude your paragraph. What's more, what is the contraction, but you can use this. Furthermore, you want to add something more. Moreover, other people think that, other people believe that. On the other hand, when you are going to give a contrast in your essay, in opinion essay, you can start your contrast with on the other hand. Apart from that, finally, last but not the least. Never say last but not least, last but not the least. Now we are going to learn vocabulary to show the comparison. If you want to show comparison, what sort of vocabulary is there which you want to use? In the same way, you talked about one thing, now you are going to compare it with other. You say in the same way, if we allow people to smoke freely, then whatever you want to say. Likewise, smoking at public places also harm the children. Similarly, something similar, like the previous point, similar to, also, at the same time, just as. I hope you like this video, and I'm sure you must be enjoying learning new phrases and new words and all that, right? Okay, let's go on. Vocabulary to show contrasts. On the other hand, on the contrary, however, nevertheless is also you, and remember after all these phrases you must use comma. On the other hand, comma. On the contrary, comma. However, comma. Nevertheless, comma. Nonetheless, comma. But, nonetheless, nevertheless, oppositely, alternatively, unlike, while, whilst, although, though. If you don't know the meaning of any of these words, don't worry, just open a dictionary and find the meaning. Even though, despite, in spite of the fact that, and whatever the fact is, you can describe that. Alternatively, in contrast to this. In contrast to this means now you are going to talk about opposite thing. The first thing in the morning today I did is actually I started making videos for you. I didn't make videos for a couple of days, so I thought I should make some new videos. Then again, on the other hand, despite the fact that, even so, yet, meanwhile. Now, let's go on. This time I'm going to give you some vocabulary words to show an example. I've seen students every time they write for example, for example, for example, for example. Repetition is a virus in IELTS speaking and IELTS writing. I told you before. So you need antivirus. What is antivirus? Antivirus is synonyms. I don't know from where these ideas come, okay? When I talk, the ideas automatically come to my mind. So, repetition is a virus in IELTS and you need antivirus. Antivirus is synonyms. You need to come up with synonyms for that. Anyways, let's just go on. Vocabulary to show an example. As an example, for instance, and after that there must be a comma. For instance, comma, as an example, comma, for example, comma, like, as, among others, such as, particularly, regarding, in particular, namely, with respect to, as far as dash is concerned, right? Then you can give the example. To show an example, to give an example, to cite an example. See, such a good word, to cite an example. Or you say, let's cite an example, or I would like to cite an example. As an evidence, comma, and then you can give the example. To illustrate, to paraphrase, an example is, or an example could be a good idea or good ideal example here. Dash could be a good or ideal example here, a case when it comes to, so you can use, There would be some phrases which you will not understand, but at least for example you should learn 4 to 5 phrases. In 1 or 2 paragraphs you will be giving examples, so there should be a variety. Vocabulary to present an idea. If you're going to present an idea, for that you can use vocabulary like research shows that. Now this is such a good one. You are presenting an idea, and for that you say research shows that. Research has found that. For example, research shows that people tend to eat fast food more than the homemade food. Or research has found that fast food is the major reason for obesity in Western countries. Such a beautiful sentence. Examiner will give you band on that. How can examiner stop the band? But if this is the only one good sentence in your essay and the rest is bad, then you will not get any good bands for that. There must be sentences like that, okay? So anyways, let's just go on. Research has found that when it comes to, with respect to, not only dash but also in terms of. These are the phrases you can use, and again overuse and inappropriate use. Whenever you learn vocabulary, whenever you learn these chunks, overuse of these chunks and inappropriate use will bring your band score down. Instead of giving you favor, it will decline your band score. Phrases to introduce more ideas or examples. Furthermore, in addition, on top of that, there is something important you say. On top of that, besides, what is more, another point worth noting is, another factor to consider is, furthermore, not only but also. Some words are repeating as well, don't worry, these are the chunks and all that. Vocabulary to show consequences, effects or result, especially if you're writing problem and solution essay for that. As a result, consequently, there should be comma, as a result, comma, consequently, comma, as a consequent, as an effect, thus, so, the reason why, therefore, on account of, because of, hence, eventually, for this reason or for that reason, thereby, comma, due to, comma, owing to, again, comma. Now vocabulary to show result and reason, cause and effect, so to show reason. As a result of, due to, one reason behind this is, one reason behind obesity is, one reason behind this is, and then dash has led to, obesity has led to, dash has resulted in, obesity has resulted in, smoking has resulted in, right? Consequently, as a result, and therefore. Now we learn some vocabulary to sum up at the end of a paragraph. When you are summing up a paragraph, I'm talking about the body paragraphs of your essay. For that you can use to sum up, in short, in a word. You can use it at the end of the essay when you are concluding your essay, but remember you must conclude a paragraph in the body as well. So to sum up, in short, in a word, to put it simply, that is to say, to repeat in short and to summarize. Next, vocabulary to make a point stronger or adding emphasis. If you want to make a point stronger, especially in your opinion essay, then you can say, it goes without saying that. Obviously, comma, and then you can write something. Needless to say, and then you can say something to emphasize. There is a little doubt that smoking at public places can do any good to people, or there is little doubt that fast food is the main reason behind obesity. There is a little doubt that. Although, thought, nonetheless, nevertheless, still, yet, must, after all, even if, therefore and thus. So these are the phrases which you have to use. Vocabulary for clarifying and rephrasing. To put it simply, to put in another way, that is to say, in other words. Now we have some transitional words which you can use for your essay. Other transitional words or connecting words like then, else, otherwise, besides, as soon as much as. Now I would like to tell you about some phrases which are incorrect but we use them and commonly people use them. First of all, from my opinion. From my opinion is incorrect. Instead of that, you should say in my opinion. In my point of view, this is wrong. In my point of view. Instead of that, you can say from my point of view. Second of all, that is wrong. Instead of that, you can say secondly or second. On other hand is wrong. It should always be on the other hand. Last but not least, this is wrong. It should be last but not the least. In a nutshell is wrong. Commonly people use this. The correct one is in conclusion or to conclude. Now please never use phrases like from my opinion, in my point of view, second of all, on the other hand, on other hand, not the, on other hand, last but not least, in a nutshell. Don't use these phrases. I told you the correct forms. Now the last thing, vocabulary for the conclusion part. When you are going to write your essay's conclusion, for that you must need these words. Now see, I am teaching you all these words which you can use in any type of essays. Then there are some specific words which are related to the topic. You need to learn those. Once you know the vocabulary of the topic and the supporting vocabulary which I taught you, these two things will end up giving you a very good insight into writing a fantastic essay in IELTS. Vocabulary for the conclusion part. In conclusion, in summary, to conclude with, to sum up, in general, to summarize, in short, all in all, overall, on the whole, to draw the conclusion. You can use one or two phrases for that. To elucidate means make something clear or explain. So don't use in a nutshell. Okay, that's wrong. That's incorrect actually. All things considered, comma, all things considered, starting life in a new country is quite challenging. By and large, taking everything into consideration, starting a new life in a foreign country is quite difficult. Taking everything into account, overcoming obesity is only possible if we refuse to eat fast food. Weighing up both sides of the argument, and then you can draw some conclusion, right? This is how you can use. There is a little table. Let's just go through that. Many people think or believe that, right? This is actually when you're going to write your first paragraph. Many people think or believe that, however, I strongly disagree that, in fact, or others think or believe, others may argue, others opine, those who disagree may argue that, point out that. So you can use this whole thing. I'm just showing it to you. However, I strongly disagree that, I find it hard to agree, I totally disagree. Perhaps this is true, but it cannot be denied that this is particularly true, but then again, in fact, for these reasons, considering all the issues. So you can use these phrases appropriately wherever it is possible. Now let's just go on. We are just left with few things and then we are going to finish. Now, vocabulary for generalizing a statement. If you want to generalize a statement, whenever you need to show a generalization or a general idea, you can use these vocabulary. General idea means it's not your idea, it's a general thing. You can use these vocabularies to present your point. Generally, comma, generally speaking, comma, in general, overall, all in all, by and large, basically, comma, as a rule, essentially, comma, on the whole, comma, all things considered, and then you can write. Vocabulary for expressing condition. Some arguments and statements in your essay would require you to show that it is dependent on some condition. Following is the list of vocabularies you can use to present condition in your writing. If, provided that, because of that, for this reason, unless, providing that, so that, in case, whether. Now, vocabulary for expressing agreement. There are several ways of that. In agreement, or in disagreement of essay, you will often need to express whether you agree or disagree or partially agree with a given statement or opinion. Now following phrases would be helpful to express your agreement with something. I quite agree that, I strongly agree that, I completely agree that, I totally agree with the given idea that, I agree with the opinion that, I am quite inclined to the opinion that. You can use 3-4 phrases from here. I could not agree more. I concur with the group who believe that. I accept that. I accept the fact that. I approve the idea. I am in agreement. I consent that. Okay, now I'm going to give you some vocabulary for expressing disagreement. I disagree with the opinion that. I strongly disagree. I completely disagree with. I totally disagree with the given idea that. With the given idea that. I disagree with the statement. I quite oppose the opinion that. I disapprove that. I totally do not accept the fact that. Learn four phrases from there. Okay, yeah. My own opinion contradicts. I disagree with the group of people, however my opinion is different. Vocabulary for expressing partial agreement. In opinion essay, I would suggest to take either side instead of going for a partial agreement. To some extent, in a way, I agree with the given statement to some extent. Up to a point, I agree, more or less, so to speak. Vocabulary for expressing certainty. What's that? Certainly, definitely, no doubt, of course, doubtlessly, without any doubt, undoubtedly, and then there should be comma. There must be comma after all these phrases. And then vocabulary for adding further information. In addition, and moreover, similarly, furthermore, also, as well as, besides, even, to, what's more, again, in a similar fashion, likewise. And last but not the least, we've got vocabulary for presenting time or sequence, right? This is very important for coherence and cohesion. First, firstly, second, secondly, third, thirdly, last, lastly, then, at the same time, meanwhile, since, as soon as, after this, after that. This is very important for sequencing, and this can help you in report writing, especially when there is a process diagram. This can help you there as well, and this will help you in IELTS listening section 3 when there is a long lecture. We call it signposting. There they say first of all, secondly, at the same time, then. So you understand now the audio is shifting. So these phrases are very helpful not only for IELTS writing task 2 but also task 1, as well as for reading. In reading also, these words will tell you how the passage is going on. Oh yes, I just discovered it now. All these phrases will actually help you with IELTS reading as well, because they use these phrases to structure their passage. And then you will understand if the question is about example, you know what are the phrases for example. If the question is about opinion, you know what are the phrases for opinion. This will help you there as well. My new discovery. When I teach, then I discover new things as well. And I've discovered a lot while teaching. I've discovered everything about IELTS while teaching IELTS. Anyways, before, after, afterwards, during, while, simultaneously, following, this, and when. Now finally, I'm going to give you the last few words which you must use, and this is the vocabulary for better writing. What are the words? You know these words already, but still you should know. For and, I told you repetition is virus and you should avoid that virus, and the antivirus of repetition is synonyms, and I'm going to teach you the synonyms. And, instead of and, you can say in addition to. Instead of and, you can say in addition to, besides, additionally, likewise, plus, furthermore, moreover, next, additionally. Instead of or, you can use or one time, then you can say else, otherwise, alternatively, instead, as a substitute. Instead of but, you can say on the other hand, then again, on the contrary, in contrast, however, then again, in spite of that, nonetheless, instead, even so, alternatively. Instead of because, you can say given that, as, since, for the reason that. Instead of hence, you can say thus, so, likewise, therefore, consequently, that is why, for this reason, above and beyond. Instead of then, you can say next, after that, it follows that, followed by, subsequently, afterward, afterwards, therefore. Instead of in fact, you can say as a matter of fact, actually, in reality, essentially, in truth, indeed, in effect, in operation. Instead of begin, you can say start, initiate, commence, originate, create, instigate, activate, launch or open. Instead of conclude, you can say to sum up, to wrap up, deduce, to draw a conclusion. For exemplifying or to exemplify, instead of exemplify, you can say illustrate, demonstrate, represent, embody, epitomize. I'm not sure about the pronunciation, I'm pronouncing this word first time. Epitomize, I guess. Show. For agree, instead of agree, you can say consent, approve, concur, harmonize, be in accord, endorse, support, back up. For disagree, you can say deny, refute, reject, repudiate, renounce, abjure, contradict, disapprove, oppose. Rise. For rise, you can say increase, grow, go up, mount, ascend, upsurge, spread, intensify, develop, climb, get higher. For arise, you can say develop, evolve, happen, occur, take place and appear. For decline, you can say reject, decrease, diminish, refuse, minimize, fall, lessen, turn down. For vary, you can say differ, fluctuate, diverge, show a discrepancy, change, alter and contrast. Just few words. For do, you can use carry out, accomplish, perform, act, take action, take steps, play a part, execute, act upon, produce a result. For utilize, you can use make use of, draw on, benefit from, amplify, take advantage of, make the most of, capitalize on, maximize. For achieve, you can use accomplish, attain, complete, bring out, get, reach and do. For fail, you can use be unsuccessful, abort, end, terminate. For compete, you can use rivalry, antagonism, contest, fight, battle, resist, thresh, about. Retaliate, brawl, stand up for. For help, you can use the word like aid, assist, support, lend a hand, abet. For need, you can use the words like demand, want, require, necessitate, requirement, requisite, fundamental and destitution. For good, you can use, don't use good every time in speaking and in writing. You can use fine, superior, excellent, decent, high quality, first class, moral, upright, noble, worthy, pleasant, delightful, advantageous, useful, fair, benefit. And for bad, you can say terrible, awful, dreadful, ghastly, evil, wicked, poor, inferior, flawed, troublesome, mischievous, grateful, guilt, injurious, harmful, adverse, rotten and rancid. And for beautiful, you can say lovely, pretty, gorgeous, splendid, magnificent, attractive, good looking, attractive, charming, exquisite, cute, appealing, nice looking, sweet, elegant, striking, stunning, dazzling, grand, superb, wonderful, astounding and fabulous. All right. So this is the vocabulary which you really need to learn. Now, instead of writing very rich, you should prefer to write wealthy, affluent. Very rich shows you don't know the next word, right? So that's why avoid the words like very rich, very simple, very shy, very old. Instead of that, you can use some other word. For very rich, wealthy, affluent. Very poor, destitute, impoverished. Very simple, basic, primary. This vocabulary will help you in IELTS reading, I'm sure, because this is how they change the language. Very often, frequently, regularly. Very shy, timid, withdrawn. Very noisy, deafening. Very old, ancient. Very short, brief, concise. Very sad, sorrowful, grieved. Very old-fashioned, archaic. Very serious, grave. Very sharp, keen, well-honed. Very shiny, gleaming. Very open, transparent and translucent. Very scary, chilling. Very scared, petrified, terrified. Very painful, excruciating or agonizing. Very rainy, pouring. Very pale, ashen. Very perfect, flawless, impeccable. Very powerful, compelling. Very pretty, beautiful. Very quick, rapid. Very quiet, hushed. So in IELTS writing, please avoid very something. Instead of that, you can write the appropriate word. It's another tip to get good bands, and this will help you when they change the wording of the question in IELTS reading from the passage. So these phrases will help you there. Better choices of words. This is the last thing, and then I will finish my workshop. Instead of using actually, you can use as a matter of fact, or indeed, or absolutely, certainly, in reality, in fact. Got it? Good. Better word choices I'm giving you, okay? Better choices of words. Instead of using amazing, you can use astonishing, incredible, marvelous, wonderful, stunning, fabulous. Instead of using interesting, you can use engaging, intriguing, alluring, amusing, captivating, compelling, enchanting and gripping. Instead of using awesome, you can use splendid, remarkable, impressive, extraordinary, awe-inspiring, awe-inspiring, fantastic, magnificent, mind-blowing. Instead of using great, you can use astounding, incredible, incredible was the movie as well, phenomenal, exemplary, fantastic, legendary, incomparable. Instead of using beautiful, you can say elegant, glamorous, stunning, striking, exquisite, lovely and gorgeous. So that's all from this workshop, and thank you very much for attending this workshop. I think it's around 40 minutes workshop. I don't know exactly, but around 40 minutes workshop, and I'm really glad that you attended this workshop. Now please learn all these things. Let me tell you, when I say workshop, workshop means you need to learn everything. Now all the words which I taught you, you need to learn from each category 4 words, and then these words will help you. So I'm thankful to all my students here in Pakistan, then in India, after that we've got Bangladesh, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Canada and America, and very recently I've started receiving messages from Africa. So my students who are from Africa, a great hello from Asad Yaqub from Pakistan, and I'll make more videos for Africans, for Pakistanis, for Indians, for Saudis and for all the people in the world. And a great Sat Sri Akal to my friends in Indian Punjab, Sikh community, Sikh people, a very good Sat Sri Akal to you all, and I'm thankful to you all that you are making me more and more and more popular. Thanks a lot. Dhanwad. Shukriya, Jazakallah for all of you. If you like this video, hit on the like button and don't forget to subscribe my channel Asad Yaqub. I have another channel Asad Yaqub Vlogs. You can subscribe to that channel as well. And I also teach IELTS online. If you want to join my online IELTS classes, you can contact me for that. Asad Yaqub wishes you all the best from this IELTS workshop. Take good care of yourselves. In English it is said, whatever you learn, make it a part of your life. Whatever I taught you in this workshop, make it the part of your knowledge, your active vocabulary, your active knowledge, and then you will have no problem in IELTS listening, reading, writing and speaking. This vocabulary deals with all the things, with reading, writing, listening, speaking, but especially for writing. Take care. Allah Hafiz.